You gave your all, and they started treating it like it was nothing. They assumed you'd always be there, no matter how they treated you. What happens when you suddenly disappear, without a single word? Let me paint you a picture. You gave everything, your time, energy, and loyalty to someone who, over time, stopped seeing those gifts as precious. They started treating them as entitlements. They assumed you'd always be there, regardless of how they acted. And you feel stuck. You've argued. You've explained. You've begged them to see your value. But nothing changes. Then one day, you decide to break the cycle. Not with confrontation, not with emotional outbursts, but with silence. You disappear. No warning. No explanation. No dramatic goodbye. Just gone. Suddenly the person who took you for granted is left with a gaping space where you used to be. They don't hear from you. They can't reach you. And that silence, it's deafening. Here's the truth no one tells you. The absence of your presence is more powerful than any words you could ever speak. Because when you walk away, you're not just leaving. You're creating a void, and in that void they are forced to sit with their thoughts. That's when the questions begin. Where did they go? Did I do something wrong? Why do I feel this way? Your silence doesn't just make them miss you, it makes them face the reality of losing you. This isn't just about cutting someone off. This is a deliberate, disciplined act of reclaiming your power. It's a strategy rooted in ancient Stoic wisdom and backed by modern psychology. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And in this context, being one means refusing to participate in chaos. It means stepping back, choosing silence, and letting your absence speak louder than any confrontation ever could. Welcome to Stoic Blessing, where we merge the timeless power of Stoicism with the sharp psychological tools of dark strategy to help you transform your mindset and your life. In today's video, we dive into the art of ghosting, not as a petty reaction, but as a powerful tool to reclaim your energy, demand respect, and rise above the noise. We call it ghost them and watch. Think about it. People only truly understand the value of something when it's no longer there. That's the principle of scarcity, a psychological truth that makes absence more impactful than presence. When you disappear, you're not just walking away, you're becoming rare, something they'll long for, regret, and chase. But here's the catch. This only works if you have the self-control to walk away and stay away. That's where real power begins. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through why silence is more powerful than confrontation, how absence triggers emotions like regret, and how you can use this strategy not just to teach others a lesson, but to grow into the strongest version of yourself. But before we begin, let's claim our power right here, right now. Scroll down to the comments and type, "My silence is my power." And if you're ready to reclaim your time, energy, and self-respect, hit that like button. This is your first step to mastering the art of detachment and becoming untouchable. You've stopped reacting. No more explaining. Now your silence becomes a fortress of power, unshaken, unreachable, and impossible to ignore. True peace is the ability to remain calm, even in the middle of chaos. And when you master that, your silence becomes a fortress, not a wall of weakness, but a wall of unshakable inner strength. Before we go deeper, take a moment to remember, silence speaks louder than words because it forces others to listen to themselves. If this resonates, drop a comment. My silence is my strength. And if you're finding value, don't forget to like this video. We're building this strength together. Number 2, the psychological effect of ghosting silence. Doesn't just send a message. It creates a psychological ripple that runs deep. When you ghost someone, you awaken something primal, the fear of loss. Humans are wired to notice things more after they're gone. This is known as the scarcity principle, one of the most powerful forces in psychology. When you stop replying, stop answering their calls, and stop playing into their games, a strange void appears, the space where you used to be. And in that space, they begin to reflect. They replay every conversation, every mistake, every missed opportunity. They look for clues. The longer the silence lasts, the louder their internal dialogue becomes. What did I do wrong? Did they stop caring? Are they really gone? That's the brilliance of ghosting. You're doing nothing, yet they're doing all the overthinking. While they spiral in their thoughts, you're already out of orbit, no longer giving your energy away. They're left with one thing, their loss. Modern psychology proves why this works. When something is taken away, it becomes more valuable. Think of a product marked limited edition. Suddenly we want it more, don't we? The same applies to people. When you pull away, you go from ordinary to extraordinary. They begin to miss what they once overlooked, what they once took for granted. But it gets deeper. Ghosting triggers their ego, fueling obsessive curiosity. Why did they leave? Was it me? Did they find someone better? This lack of closure eats away at them, and that discomfort. That's what forces self-reflection. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their insecurities, their guilt, their mistakes. From a Stoic perspective, this is emotional detachment in action. Marcus Aurelius said, "You can withdraw whenever you want." Perfect tranquility lies in the proper ordering of your own mind. Ghosting isn't about harming, it's about prioritizing peace. It's saying, I refuse to engage with what disrupts my harmony. While they wrestle with regret, you're reclaiming your power. You're no longer chasing, explaining, or proving. You're the one who walked away, calm, confident, and unforgettable. Before we move on, claim this power again. Comment below, "My silence is my control." And if this speaks to you, hit that like button. When you choose silence, you don't just create distance in their mind, you begin building a fortress of inner freedom they can't reach. Wisdom isn't always loud. When you remain silent, you're not just protecting your peace, you're making a bold statement. Your silence says, I am in control. I don't need your validation, your attention, or your approval. My worth isn't defined by your behavior. That message? Stronger than any confrontation, more lasting than any argument. But let's be honest, controlling your emotions is tough. There will be moments when you feel the urge to reach out, to explain, to seek closure. In those moments, remember this. Silence is the ultimate test of your discipline. Every time you resist the urge to react, you're training your emotional resilience. You're proving, both to yourself and to them, that you don't respond to every insult or emotional trigger. You rise above it. So how do you stay disciplined? The Stoics offer a timeless solution. Focus only on what you can control. You can't control how others feel. You can't change what they think of you, but you can always choose how you respond. Shift your focus away from what you've lost and toward what you're building. Your peace, your growth, your power. Take a moment now. Scroll down and type, I control my emotions. They don't control me. Let that be your declaration. your personal revolution against emotional chaos. Because this moment is when you stop chasing and start commanding. You've stepped back. You've stayed silent. And now, your absence is doing more than your presence ever could. People obsess over what they don't understand. And here's the key. The less you reveal, the more valuable they perceive you to be. Next comes longing. This is where the scarcity principle kicks in. They begin to recall the little things they once overlooked. Your laugh, the energy you brought into the room, the stability you provided. Now your absence amplifies those memories, turning them into something yearned for, something painfully missed. But here's the twist. The more they crave you, the more they realize they can't have you anymore, and that realization only intensifies their desire. Eventually, obsession takes hold. When guilt, curiosity, and longing collide, they create an emotional storm. And the person who once took you for granted now can't stop thinking about you. They're trapped, haunted by the silence, because your absence is a riddle they can't solve, a void they can't fill. And the best part? You're not even lifting a finger. Your silence is doing everything. From a Stoic perspective, this is the ultimate power move. By walking away and holding your discipline, you're not just protecting your peace, you're commanding their attention without a single word. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." And in this moment, you've chosen to be someone who values themselves enough to walk away. And let that choice speak for itself. But let's be clear. This isn't about revenge. It's about setting a boundary, Adi, and letting them feel what happens when they cross it. You're not chasing. You're not explaining. You're not proving your worth. You're simply stepping back and letting the weight of your absence do the work. That's the power of dark psychology, using their own emotions to teach them a lesson they'll never forget. And while they spiral in guilt, curiosity, longing, and obsession, what are you doing? You're focusing on you, you're growing, you're glowing. You're becoming someone who doesn't just demand respect, you embody it. Because the way you carry yourself, even in silence, is your loudest statement. If this resonates with you, affirm your power. Drop a comment below. My absence is my strength. Let that be your declaration. That you and only you control your story from this moment forward. You walked away. You stayed silent, and now, just as expected, they're coming back. Here's the truth about ghosting. It leaves an impact. And when someone feels the weight of your absence, there's one thing you can almost always count on. They'll come back. Maybe not today, maybe not the way you expect, but eventually they'll find a reason to reappear in your life. The real question is, will you be ready for it? When they do reach out, it usually starts small. A vague text, a comment on an old post, a like on a photo from months ago. Why? Because they're testing the waters. They want to see if the door they once took for granted is still cracked open. This is where your discipline is truly tested. Will you respond, or will you stay silent? Remember, their return isn't about them. It's about you. It's your moment to ask yourself, do they still deserve a place in this new life you've built? Let's step back and understand why they return. When you ghost someone, you become a mystery. Dark psychology reveals that humans are naturally attracted to what they can't figure out. Your silence created a void in their mind, and now they're desperate to fill it. But here's what matters most. You're no longer the same person they knew. You've grown, you've evolved, You've elevated to a space where their presence is no longer needed. So how should you respond? First, don't let their comeback disturb your peace. Remember the Stoic principle. You have power over your mind, not external events. Their return doesn't mean you owe them anything. Not an explanation, not forgiveness, and certainly not access to the life you rebuilt. If you do choose to respond, do it from a place of strength, not emotion. Keep it short, keep it neutral, keep it boundaried. Say something like, "I hope you're doing well. I've been focusing on myself and my goals." That sends a crystal clear message. You've moved on, and you're no longer who they once took for granted. If they want closure, let your growth be their answer. If they want to manipulate, hold your ground. On the other hand, if you choose not to respond, that's just as powerful. Silence is still your weapon. By refusing to engage, you're reinforcing your worth and showing that you're not willing to revisit what's already behind you. And here's what you must never forget. Their return does not validate you. You already validated yourself when you walked away and chose growth. Their comeback only reflects what they've lost, not what you were missing. So when that moment comes, handle it with grace. Let your actions and evolution speak louder than any reply. Stay calm, stay grounded, and most importantly, stay focused on your future. If this resonates, affirm it below. I rise above the past. Now let's move into the final and most important chapter, how to stay ghosted and stay in control. When you choose not to respond, you're not just staying silent toward them. You're choosing to remain loyal to yourself. Your silence isn't just for them, it's for you. It's an act of self-respect. A declaration that your peace is sacred, that you don't owe anyone your energy just because they suddenly realized your worth. Third, surround yourself with support. You don't have to walk this path alone. Silence doesn't mean isolation. You're allowed to lean on friends. You're allowed to speak with mentors. You're allowed to tap into communities like this one, where people remind you of your value and help you stay grounded when doubts arise. Staying ghosted isn't about shutting everyone out. It's about being selective with your attention and intentional with your peace. And finally, trust the process. Both dark psychology and Stoic wisdom agree, silence is a long game. Its effects may not show up instantly, but when they arrive, they are deep, lasting, and transformative. Believe this. By remaining ghosted, you're not just teaching them a lesson, you're evolving into your most powerful self. Take a moment now. Affirm this inner commitment. Drop a comment below. I am stronger in silence. Let that be your private promise to remain disciplined, focused, and unshakably aligned with your growth.